Alright, this review is going to be quick and simple because Thunderbolts is quick and simple. And that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. Yeah, it's non-spoilers. But this was a very by the books kind of movie. You know, if you know, you know. Well, for those who don't know, what I mean is it was very simple. This plot is very simple. It's nothing like crazy, like, oh my goodness. A good post-credit scene, I will say that, but I'm not going to tell y'all to go see a movie because of a post-credit scene. I can just spoil it for y'all. I'm not going to do it. Or you can just look online. I'm pretty sure Google will tell you what the post-credit scene is. But I ain't going to front. That post-credit scene does raise a question, but I'm not going to ask that question right now. You know, I'll ask it at the end of the video, and I'll say spoiler alert. And maybe those who did see it can let me know, like, you know. Anyway, the movie. A bunch of misfits get hired by a bigger misfit, I guess you could say, to do a mission. And these misfits, they get hired separately. Lo and behold, that mission is for all of them to meet and destroy each other due to covering up something that the bigger misfit actually did. And they realized that they were set up. So they decided to work together to stop her. But in the process of stopping her, someone bigger and badder. Can I say the name? Because a lot of us said a lot of us knew who it was. The trailers were trying to cover it up, but so is it really spoiling if I say it? You know, to keep it safe, because I said, you know, I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna say the name. I'll say the name at the end, like I said when I say spoiler. But right now I won't say. Big bad Superman, a Marvel Superman shows up and interferes with their plans, and this individual, I'm saying Marvel superhero very lightly because he's actually a little different. He's a little different. I gotta do more research on this character. I know him a little bit from the comics, but not that much. But yeah, he comes and messes up everything. The Thunderbolts, as they call it in the movie, fixes the situation in the most basic way. Bro, I'm doing my best not to spoil it, but it's nothing. I'll put it to you this way. Let me just say this. Is this a good movie to go see in theaters? Yes, on Tuesday deal prices. This is not something I would advise to go see paying $14, whatever it is where you live at. I know where I live at, there's Tuesday deals where 14 turns to $6 or $7. I would say that matinee price or Tuesday deal price. Yes, it's not a bad movie. It is better than the Captain America one. I didn't like the Captain America movie. The recent one I'm talking about, I wasn't a fan of that. Yes, the Red Hulk scenes was nice, but that was very small. The whole movie itself was not that good in my opinion. But it was better than that. And I will say the woman who plays, I do not know her name, Florence Pugh, I think, but she plays Black Widow's sister. Yelena, I believe her name was in the movie. She did a good job. Her role and the way she carried the movie was done very well. A great female lead. Disney, you hear that? A great female lead. You can have female leads without them trashing men. Like, I don't understand how certain other projects did that. It never worked. I'm glad Marvel didn't do it this time. They had a female lead that was not annoying and was not, I can handle this on my own. I'm big and bad. I'm this and that. Men are trash. They nothing like that. She can lead, and she did it well. Her acting in it was good. She had a moment with her father that I thought was very well acted. I love Bucky, but I loved him in everything that he was in. The TV show with him and Falcon was okay, but I still loved him in it. So yeah, Bucky was done well, but honestly, the one who was leading the movie, who carried it for the most part, was Yelena. I will say, the guy who played Bob did, the actor, I don't know his name, never seen him in anything else, but he played very well for his role. He switched personalities. And I'm saying that very lightly without spoiling anything. But he switched from a guy who was not know he was going, like, what was going on, like, and he was nervous and self-conscious. He's like, hey, how you doing and stuff and that, to looking at the screen like a psycho. And his personality changes was done very well. And like I said, that takes acting. That has nothing to do with CGI, nothing like that. That was all acting. Him and Yelena, in my opinion, was the best in the movie. Like I said, I love Bucky, but he didn't carry it. It was more of Yelena, and in my opinion, when he was on screen, Bob. So that was done well, but the plot in itself was very basic. And sometimes basic, simple can be done very well. And I think they did it good enough to see it in theaters, but not good enough to pay $20 or $50, whatever it is where you live at, pricing. I will wait for matinee or in our where I live at, it's like Tuesday deals. I will wait for that. The action was very minimum. There was one good one that was not shown in the commercials. There was a fight scene where the Thunderbolts was fighting a certain individual, and I thought that was done very well. The certain individual, though, you could tell that without saying his name, that he was nerfed. Like I said, I know him from the comics not that well, but I know him enough to know that he was nerfed in this movie. But I do have a question. I'll let that I'll hold for the end. But overall, and the ending, that's what I get to. The ending, the final, I guess you call boss battle, if you can call it that, was very disappointing. It was the common, let's bond together, and I'm here for you moment. And that's the way to defeat the villain. Even though when I left the theater, I was like, I understand why they had to go that route for plot armor, because this certain individual technically cannot be beaten by these people. Like, I don't even think Thor himself, I'll have to research this character. I have to look more in depth with this character, but I don't even think Thor himself could beat him. But because of that, they had to find the most softest way to basically end the conflict. I mean, yeah, it's like, how the heck are you going to defeat him? But if you're going to have this character in this movie, y'all got to take the fall, or y'all got to... I mean, we're the MCU. We've experienced all these different heroes. Call Doctor Strange. I don't know, do something. I'll find something. But the ending was like, oh, okay. So, yeah, I mean... It was a pretty basic movie. The action scenes outside the one I told you that the Thunderbolts fought the bad guy, it was very little. What you see in the commercials is mostly what was shown in the movie. It was nothing else action wise. Yeah, it was pretty light on that, which was a little disappointing. So yeah, I came out enjoying it for the most part. Like I said, I'm cool with basic as long as it's done well. For the most part, it was done well. The ending, I was like, that was forgettable. But I do like the performance that Yelena and Bob had. I like the performance that Yelena and her father had. And I always like seeing Bucky on screen. For me, seeing Bucky was kind of cool. I did laugh at one part. There's a certain character that dies. I mean, it's not really much of a spoiler because everybody was talking about it. But there's a certain character that dies, and it made me laugh because you could tell Marvel was like, they're either trying to start over with this certain character, or they just want to forget about it because of all the backlash this character gave. Y'all probably know what I'm talking about because it was talked about throughout the whole trailer before this movie came out. Everybody was talking about this certain character. I'm still not gonna say the name for just to be safe, but there is a certain character that dies, and I even laughed. Because, yes, you could tell Marvel wanted to be done with this certain individual. But, yeah, I would say go see it for matinee $7 price. Like, something like that. Wherever your theater's at, whatever they do, deal-wise, I would say it for that. It's nothing like, oh, my goodness. Like I said, it did have a cool post-credit scene. But you know what? We're near the end of this video. I'm going to get to little spoilers. A little bit. So, spoiler warning. I want to talk about this post-credit scene. Oh, and now that I'm in the spoiler section, the character I'm talking about is Sentry. Y'all probably knew that, but I wanted to be safe because some people don't go into commercials or YouTube videos, stuff like that. So I wanted to be safe and not say the name, but it was Sentry. So that was the person that was the big baddie. And like I said, with Akeda Sentry, I understand why the ending was the way it was. I still wish they went a little harder with it though, because it's like, yes, this character is not really beatable with these with the heroes that we have, but why put them in the movie then? Can y'all find a different way to, have a surprise MCU character that can maybe compete enough? Maybe Thor shows up out of nowhere. I don't know. I don't know. But that was I do like the fight scene though that Sentry had against the Thunderbolts. That was the scene I'm talking about. That was the only extra fighting scene outside of the one you see in the commercial. I thought that was cool, just showing how powerful he is. Even though I still think they nerfed him. But the post-credit scene. So now the Thunderbolts are now called the New Avengers, right? They get a call about something in space is on its way to Earth, or to Earth. So they look on screen and it's a ship. It's a ship that turns as it's going down, and it has 4, meaning the Fantastic Four. I thought that was cool. The one question I had about it though was, isn't that spoiling the movie? Because if you see the Fantastic Four trailers, they're in their universe, because we know that's a different universe. How you see those trailers, you could tell that's not the MCU's universe. That's not our universe. But still, it kind of spoils the answer to the to the trailer of their movie. Because the trailer of their movie, they're trying to save their universe, save their planet. When Silver Surfer came to warn them, and I guess in the trailer, well, yeah, in the trailer when they asked Mr. Fantastic, "Can you help us?" I think he said, "I don't know" or something like that. I guess if you see Thunderbolts, you have the answer to that question. No, they cannot. Because why are they here? Unless it was to escape their universe or whatever was about to happen. Or maybe they did something they thought, Reed Rich was doing something that can help them defeat Galactus, save the Earth. And maybe it did save the Earth, but it cost them being in some kind of rift that sent them to a different universe. Who knows? Maybe it's something like that. But it did raise, I'm like, it's cool to see another superhero on his way, but are you sure you want to do that to spoil the plot? I don't know. Maybe due to the fact that we all know when we saw the trailer that this is not the same universe as the MCU. So in order for them to take the Fantastic Four into the MCU to get ready for Doom and all that, we knew that it was going to be something that was going to happen for them to be over there. So I guess it's not really much of a spoiler. I don't know. It did raise the question though. It raised it. It wasn't just a point like, oh, y'all spoiled it. But it was like, huh. Like if I wasn't a huge Marvel fan, but I do watch them, and I saw the trailer for Fantastic Four, and then I watched Thunderbolts, I'll be like, wait, why'd y'all spoil it? Like us Marvel fans, we know why. Like it's not really much of a spoil because we know what's about to happen. But those just regular moviegoers, I think they'll be like, huh? Oh, so I guess Fantastic Four lost in their movie. Anyway, outside of that, that was a cool part. It was, like I said, a couple good scenes. I'm glad though I went out of the movie not like, oh, that was terrible. Yeah, some jokes didn't land, but overall, it was a good watch. It's always cool to see Bucky again. Like I said, I'm glad to see Elena do like her character. Her character, I think, was done well. And Bob, now that I'm in spoiler territory, Bob is Sentry. I thought his performance switching personalities was done very well. Yeah, that's about it. It's not amazing, but it's not bad either. It's in the middle. It's mid. I'll put it that way. A lot of conveniences in this movie. I forgot to mention that. Just a lot of convenience. It was like, oh, how ironic that was there at this moment in this time. It was a lot of those moments in this movie, but it is what it is. It's comic book movies and, a lot of stuff like that. Let's be real. In comic books and in cartoons, that stuff happened there as well. So anyway, decent. I'll give it was decent. Yeah, that's my review. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'll check you later.